as the 2024 tax season is in full swing, the South African Revenue Service has rolled out several updates to streamline tax filing processes, from enhanced digital tools to key dates you need to remember. Despite this, though, the impending tax season can be daunting for so many. South Africa Institute of Taxation Operations and Tax Specialist Yolisa Dyasi joins us now to share critical issues to know this filing season. I dread this season. I'm sure a lot of people do because of all the admin that is now ahead of us. But we've got some time to prepare ourselves, right? I think let's start with this, Yolisa. Of course, welcome to the show. I should have started there. But I think a really great place to start, Yolisa, is what do we need to be doing right now to prepare ourselves from that admin point of view?
Thank you so much, Naledi, for having me. So as you know, the filing season will officially open on Monday, the 15th of July, which is actually 2 weeks later than what we're used to. We're used to the filing season starting on the 1st of July, but this year it's starting 2 weeks later because SARS is issuing auto assessments to the simpler returns between the 1st and the 14th. So for those who don't qualify for that auto assessment population and who will be required to start submitting returns, it's important to start getting your financial information together. And what I mean by this is getting your RIP5s from your employers, getting your IT3s from the banks or from your medical aids and your retirement annuities. The mistake that we see people making is submitting the return, and only when SARS wants to audit and verify that information, they want to start collecting that information. It's important to have almost an audit pack ready before you submit the return, so that you know that anything that you have declared in your income tax return, you are able to substantiate, and there are no delays in finalizing audits or SARS releasing refunds where those are due.
Okay, sure. And then who qualifies for auto assessments?
So the auto assessment population has grown over the past 4 years. We see SARS now having third-party data of over 5 million taxpayers. So the people who qualify are those that purely only have third-party data that needs to be inputted into a return, and SARS relieves them of the burden of submitting the return by actually pre-populating this return on their behalf, because SARS does collect the data from the employers, from the banks, medical aids, retirement funds, and the like, and they actually submit this return on their behalf because SARS has a 99.9% accuracy rate in terms of the third-party data. So if you know that you only have that type of third-party data, then you would qualify for the auto assessment, and this is limited to non-provisional taxpayers.
Yeah. So, and I'm reading here that even if you do receive, you know, if you do get an auto assessment, you still should go and check that it's correct, right?
100%. So as much as the information has been verified by SARS, the burden still rests with the taxpayer to ensure that the information that's on that assessment is correct. Because if it comes to pass that, in fact, there was an under-declaration of some sort of income or over-deduction, it is the taxpayer that would still be liable for that penalty. So even if you do receive an auto-assessment, it is important to go back, go into your e-filing or your mobile app and verify that information. And if you find that it is incorrect, submit a return as any other ordinary taxpayer from the 15th of July.
Okay, and then how would you know if you've been auto-assessed? You get an SMS or, you know, some kind of communication, right?
Yes, so SARS does issue 2 notifications, one via email if your email address is registered, and another via SMS. And we do warn taxpayers because we see a lot of scams that are doing the rounds of people drafting their own SMSs and sending them out with links for phishing purposes. So SARS does not issue any links on their SMSs. They will always require you to go and verify that information on e-filing or on the mobile app. So you are always notified via email or by an SMS.
Sure, and you know, we need to talk about that, right? Criminals and fraudsters, because I think that a lot of us can say that we've seen an email or an SMS that seems to come from SARS, but you're not quite sure. Are you able to help us with, you know, just more details about what we should be looking for? And also, if we can, ways to protect ourselves?
Yes, so in 2024, we actually saw an unprecedented amount of actual tax fraud and e-filing fraud, more than the last 5 years, in fact. So the first thing that people always need to do is treat their e-filing profiles the same way they would treat their banking apps on their cell phones. Make sure that you're not sharing any usernames or passwords with anyone, because this is the main way that people are actually hijacking those profiles. Secondly, we need to stay away, and we know filing season is the time where fraud is actually at its highest. So you need to stay away from what we call ghost practitioners. And these are the people who purport to be tax practitioners, but are not actually registered with a controlling body or do not have a practicing license with SARS.
Yeah.
The quickest way to actually note this is someone saying, I can guarantee you a refund, right? That's the first red flag. Or someone who wants to submit your returns using your profile instead of their tax practitioner profile, because that person will start under declaring income and over declaring deductions to manipulate the return to ensure that you get that refund. And we also see these people wanting to claim contingency fees to say, well, if I get you a refund, you'll give me 20%. So you need to stay away from those people. Thirdly, like I said, we see a lot of scams that are going on SMS and via email. There are 3 right now doing the rounds, where it will say you've been auto-assessed, and to access your refund, click the link. You need to make sure that you're not clicking any links on any SMSs, because those are classic phishing scams. Or they'll say you have a tax debt, pay into this FNB account.
Yeah.
SARS does not have FNB accounts or standard bank accounts or anything. They are only public beneficiaries on banking apps. So if you ever get notification that you need to start paying money into an account for your tax, you need to know that is a scam, and you need to stay vigilant and stay away from those.
Sure. Very, very interesting. And then let's talk about the importance of compliance, right? I think I've seen a few people that say, how important is it really? The true cost of that.
So we've actually seen voluntary compliance increase. And if we look at the preliminary results that SARS published in April, the voluntary compliance was up to 70%. And I think that SARS over the years has become very stringent with the penalties.
Yeah.
So previously, you could get away with having 2 outstanding returns without having any penalties. That had since changed in 2022, whereas if you have a single tax return that is outstanding, SARS starts levying penalties. And they start levying penalties from the exact month that tax return is outstanding. So for instance, this year, for non-provisional taxpayers, the return needs to be submitted by the 21st of October. We find that already on the 1st of November, if that return hasn't been submitted, SARS is levying penalties, and they are collecting. I think SARS has strengthened their debt collection department. So they are very aggressive when it comes to actually levying those penalties and collecting, not only from the taxpayers, but also from the banks, also from the employers through garnishing orders. So we find that SARS needs to put the pressure and have some sort of incentive there for taxpayers to remain compliant. And for the most part, majority of the taxpayers are compliant on a voluntary basis.
Yeah, and we hope that continues to stay that way. Okay, give us the good news. So we've talked about penalties. Give us what happens when you get something paid out, right? You do a refund, yes, timeframes. Everybody wants to know when the money is going to hit my account when you do get a refund.
Yes, so actually SARS has committed to a 72-hour turnaround time. In the previous years, we saw that the auto assessments, all 3 million of them, were issued at the same time. And SARS couldn't actually pay out all those refunds within 72 hours because of obviously the banking limits. However, because now they are doing this in a staggered approach over a 2-week period, as soon as you get your auto assessment, say you get it on a Monday, we can say within 72 hours, you would get that refund by the Thursday.
Yeah.
And a lot of taxpayers have reported that this is the case. Notwithstanding, just because you have received the refund, it doesn't mean that come the 15th of July, you shouldn't actually check that assessment to see if it's correct, because you may find that you're actually eligible for a higher refund than what SARS had initially estimated, because there are additional deductions that you can claim. And in the same breath, even if SARS had paid you out a refund and you find that, in fact, there was an under-declaration of the income, you would be required to pay that back. So as exciting as it is to get that SMS that the money is in, we need to be very careful to make sure that it is the right amount and we are actually eligible for that refund.
Yeah, Yolisa, I'm going to let you go because you giveth and then you taketh away. But thank you so much for speaking to us. We really, really do appreciate it. Yolisa Dyasi is with the South African Institute of Taxation. Of course, for more information, go take a look at SARS's website as well, sars.gov.za. Really important to get the admin done this season.